So today I'm going to be talking about the case Sessions v. Morales-Santana that was in the Supreme Court in 2017. Just a brief summary of the facts. Morales-Santana was born in the Dominican Republic and was denied United States citizenship because his father, who was a U.S. citizen, was 20 days short of his 19th birthday at the time of his son's birth in the Dominican Republic. The Immigration and Nationality Act requires fathers to be living in the U.S. for 10 years, with 5 being after the age of 14, and that's in accordance with Rule 8 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So Morales-Santana was going to be deported for different criminal charges, and he was arguing that the Rule 8 of the Immigration and Nationality Act was in violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the Fifth Amendment. So the two issues in this case that Ruth Bader Ginsburg framed was, does the Immigration and Nationality Act violate the Fifth Amendment Equal Protection Clause due to its gender-based distinction? And should the court extend the 1-year physical presence benefit for unwed mothers to Morales-Santana and his father? So that rule I mentioned before about fathers having to live in the U.S. for 10 years, with 5 being after the age of 14, there is one exception to that rule for unwed mothers, that they only need to be in the U.S. for 1 year. They need to have 1 year physical presence, and their son or daughter can have U.S. citizenship if they're born abroad. So Morales-Santana wanted that benefit extended to him as well. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg had the majority opinion, and she said that there was a clear case of gender discrimination, and since it was a discrimination case, there needed to be a compelling government interest for why the gender discrimination was occurring, and she found no compelling government interest for discrimination. So almost everyone agreed, and everyone really did agree, but there was a couple exceptions with Thomas and Alito. They concurred only in part to the judgment that Ruth Bader Ginsburg gave. They cited, "I am skeptical that we even have the power to provide relief of the sort requested in the suit, namely conferral of citizenship on a basis other than that prescribed by Congress." So they were basically arguing that the Supreme Court isn't or shouldn't be making decisions based on citizenship, that should be left alone to Congress. So they only concurred in part. So overall, I would call this case a win for gender equality because of it provides equal rights for mothers and fathers. So there's no discrimination if you're a mother or discrimination if you're a father under this law anymore, that you're both treated the same no matter what the circumstances are. And it attacks long-held gender roles and gender assumptions as well, that mothers may have special circumstances that they need, or that fathers aren't as paternal or something. So it attacks those gender roles as well. But on the immigration rights front, I don't know if I'd really call this a huge success, because now it really can end up hurting children that wanted that U.S. citizenship or needed that U.S. citizenship so that they wouldn't be stateless. So now that there's no benefits in any circumstances, there's no 1-year benefit allowed at all for men or women, because that was done away with, and the government decided that they would do the 5-year rule instead of allowing any sort of benefits, instead of granting everyone those benefits. So on the immigration front, I wouldn't really call it a success. I do agree with the ruling, even though it is sad for immigration rights, just because I don't really think the Supreme Court does. I think they were right to say that they can't make the laws in that situation. I don't think that is what the Supreme Court was made to do. And I do agree with the discrimination front on the gender, though. I think the court made the right decision in all those circumstances, but I do wish that the benefit would have just been extended. But then again, that is up to Congress and not the Supreme Court, so they ruled correctly there, in my opinion.